Welcome to Reflections, a program where we discuss values and virtues for the transformation of the individual and the society in general. I am Father George Ehusani, and I have with me in the studio once again our friend, Dr. Solomon Agbonhulu. I got them right?
Yes.
And Dr. Yalaye is a teacher of law, and you also work with the National Assembly or National Assembly Institute.
I'm on sabbatical with the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies.
Oh, National Institute for Legislative. Do we do any serious legislative studies in this country?
Well, we do. From my own experience, little experience, we do.
Okay.
My own little experience at the moment, we do.
Today we have come to discuss the next generation. And I'm really worried. What's going to happen? Are we losing the next generation? We watched a video, right? A short video that came from one school. I think the name of the school is
University Preparatory Secondary School.
University Preparatory Secondary School in Benin City, and that's your state. And that's part of the reason why I brought you for us to discuss. Producer, can you show a bit of that short video? It's like a 2-minute video. Show that video. A group of students were graduating from secondary school, meaning they are just completing their SS3. In some cases, there's still NECO exam to be done, and they decided to do their graduation in style. And each one of them come with heavy-duty SUVs. Each one of them come with a date, meaning a boy comes with his girlfriend, a girl comes with his boyfriend, and then they come in heavy-duty cars, expensive cars, looking new, Jeeps, Mercedes-Benz Jeeps, Lexus Jeeps, Toyota Prado, and so on and so forth. And they came in style. In fact, the vehicles didn't have numbers. The vehicles had their nicknames rather than vehicle numbers. And then you see each one of them wearing custom design suits. When I first saw it, I thought they were some couple going for marriage, some expensive marriage ceremony, not knowing that these are secondary school children that are just finishing, meaning 16, 17-year-old children.
Correct.
Who have never earned a kobo in their life, and they are riding cars that are 100, 200 million naira worth, and going for graduation like that. Solomon, you watched the video.
Yes, that's correct. I did.
What do you have to say? It's from your state, and in fact, it's bearing University Preparatory Secondary School, and you are a staff on sabbatical from University of Benin. What's happening?
Well, for the records, that University Preparatory School is not the University of Benin School. It's just a name.
It's not owned by the University of Benin.
University of Benin.
Why are you rejecting it? I mean, because of of this video, you are rejecting it now.
No, we have to set the record straight.
Okay.
When I watched the video, I was shocked by the level of decadence that we now see.
The public display of vanity and vainglory.
We see boys and girls who come into graduation in a grand style, with display of opulence, wealth. And these are boys and girls who have not, I'm sure, have not worked.
I mean, I said they are 15, 16, 17-year-olds.
It's shocking, and it just shows where we are as a society today. If at that level you could see young boys and girls coming into graduation with that kind of display of wealth, then where lies the hope for our country? Most time when we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, are these the youth who are going to step in as leaders of tomorrow?
Is it just display of wealth or of indiscipline?
Well, it's part of it. It's part of it. Indiscipline, yes, but
did you see their dress? What they are wearing?
It's a complete package, from the clothing, the apparel,
the hairstyle.
It's a complete package, and so it still goes back to what I said earlier, that it just shows where we are today as a society, where we condone, we kind of reinforce this, what I call, for me actually, the school, the parents, they're all part of this whole nonsense.
Because somebody released those vehicles to them.
That is if the children, because what I know from my own little knowledge of
the environment,
I will not be surprised if some of these cars are owned by the students.
Owned by the students?
Yes, at that level.
How?
Yes.
15, 16,
Yes,
17 years
because
old?
it's no longer secret. It's in the public space. The Yahoo business, Yahoo culture is thriving very, very fast, and is fast gaining momentum all around.
So a secondary school child can gather 100 million to buy a car?
They can, yes. They can.
By stealing and by cheating, stealing and fraud.
Well, that's what it is. But when you get to Benin, it's a thriving culture, in the sense that at that level, you have young boys who are into Yahoo, and they make a fortune. And when they make the money, what do they do with it? It's this display of wealth, this show of opulence. I have arrived. And so you see at secondary school level, the same thing. These same students now, if eventually they get into university, the same display of this.
Does that not? I mean, you have been a teacher at the University of Benin. Does that not constitute a problem for the teachers in the university when they go to the university with this kind of display of wealth?
Well, you have to contend with what you are seeing in the university. Like what we see most often when students are graduating in university is even actually worse than this. You see students, they are doing a parade of expensive vehicles inside the university.
They come in a motorcade.
They come in a grand style, celebrity grand style. Even when the results are not yet released, and they're not even sure whether or not
they have passed
the exams they have undertaken. And then they will tell you that after all, what is it? School is a scam.
School is a scam.
Yes. If they can hit it big at this level, so what is it? And let me use the local parlance. Last is about money.
Last is about money.
It's about money. So what is it?
Meaning they can pay for it.
They can pay for it. So what is it? So the culture is eating deep.
Now,
yes.
My staff told me that this video we watched was obtained from the website of the school. Meaning it's not just on Instagram or TikTok, that it was obtained from that it is on the website of the school. What kind of a school is that? That will not feel embarrassed by these features and actually load it onto their school website. What kind of PTA, what kind of Parents Teachers Association, what kind of leadership that school has that will not see this as an embarrassment in today's age, and under the circumstance of the widespread poverty and destitution that Nigeria is facing today?
Yes, that's why in my initial comment I said that even the school is part of this whole thing. It's culpable, because if you can go the extra mile to put that kind of display of wealth and indiscipline on your school website, then it shows that the school itself is endorsing such.
The school is part of the conspiracy.
It is. And it's unfortunate, because the school is supposed to be a ground for
formation,
character and learning,
values,
character and learning, moral rectitude. But this is the direct opposite of what it's supposed to be. Students coming to school on graduation day, and they are still students for the records.
Up to the end of the graduation ceremony, they are supposed to be students.
But you see what they're doing, and the school is proud.
I was so scandalized watching it, because I went to a school to give the prize giving address speech. Prize Day speech some 5-6 years ago. No, about 3-4 years ago. And I saw that the girls had made up their hair, they were wearing high heels. And I publicly indicted the school authority to say, listen, for all I know, until after the graduation ceremony, these are still students.
That's correct.
So they are supposed to dress up as students right up to the end of the graduation ceremony. And so I expected to see them in their school uniform. And that the way they are dressed now, some of them looking like call girls, is a scandal for the young ones in Form 1, Form 2, Form 3.
Yes.
So, and the principal apologized to me and said they never thought about it. Now, but to see this one that we have just watched,
which has actually, by the way, gone viral.
It has blown my mind. Yes. I mean, I can't understand how a school authority will entertain this. What it means is that, are we losing the next generation? That's the question. Are we losing the next generation with the conspiracy, with the cooperation of the school authorities, of the teachers perhaps, and the parents, those we call the leaders of tomorrow? What kind of values are we projecting?
Well, at the rate we are going, we are fast losing it. Because as is often said, if you are headed for a direction and you do not change your course,
you will end up where you're headed.
Yeah. So the way at the rate we are going, we're in serious trouble. Because if at this level, at this stage, you could display such indiscipline, such wealth, which, by the way, most of the students there have not worked a kobo in their life.
A wealth that you cannot explain.
You can't. So it's a call for action, and that we are joking with something that's very serious. Because if at that level of secondary school, we can see this kind of embarrassment, then of course there's no hope.
And if the school cannot see it as an embarrassment,
but the school perhaps did not, attune their minds to the fact that this is an embarrassment. That is the more reason why it is
putting it on the website,
in the public domain, which is the website of the school, which to me is troubling. Rather than the school condemning it and rejecting it outrightly, we are seeing the school putting it up there on the website. Which
you
troubling.
mean I will be a parent or a teacher, and then or a school authority, and then young people will come like this to school, from head to shoes, will come like this, and I will entertain it?
Well,
secondary school, not university.
Just also see that we're just seeing this now, and this may likely not be the first time it's happening, because this thing is something that has perhaps been done over and over, and so this may not be the first time we're seeing where this is happening.
I'm told that on the website they have said they have celebrated this and are saying that they will do even better next year.
So and each year every set would like to
outdo.
Yes, that's the danger, and so we're headed for a disastrous end, because if they have done this year 2024, what will happen next year? Those who want to do it next year must have learned a lot and will have to improve on what they have seen, and so the hope is actually very slim. We're on a dangerous trajectory. That's the truth. We are headed for a very disastrous end.
So it means what it means is that we're having parents, fathers and mothers of young people who perhaps themselves have lost it, and they are raising children. Since Nemo that could not have it, you can't give what you don't have. It means we're having parents and teachers who have very little in terms of values to pass on to their children or their word, and that the society is in serious crisis already. If we can have this and shamelessly display them and post them, there's work to do. There's a lot of work to do.
Indeed, there is work to do, and the work starts from the base, actually, the grassroots, which is the family unit, because it's the family that these boys and girls are products from homes, from families, and so there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of value reorientation. Because if you have children or boys and girls who are well brought up from good homes, and I dare say there are a number of students who are brought up from good homes, but when you have the majority,
yes, I mean they will be corrupted, and students can easily be influenced.
So it goes back again to the fact that we need to reorientate that family unit.
What is the role of religious organizations, churches, mosques? What is our role in this? Because I'm asking myself, the children who are appearing like this, some of them, since they were born, they have been going to churches or going to mosques. What Definitely. Are the religious leaders doing in terms of reorientating them? Because what it means is that the sense of what has value in life, the sense of what is valuable, the sense of what gives meaning, the sense of what gives happiness, lasting happiness, I wonder how well we are doing as religious leaders in impacting this on our children.
Well, that in itself presents a huge challenge, because as we often say, it's by their fruit you know whether or not they are religious. What we see on display
doesn't show any religious
say
person.
More that we are religious. So it's whether or not the religious leaders are doing much will actually show in what we are seeing in the fruits that are being displayed. And
by their fruits, you shall know them.
And what we have seen so far, I dare say, does not really show that much has been done in terms of the people imbibing that that scriptural injunction that we should, live out life of value, life of meaning, life of purpose.
And frugality and simplicity are critical values in Christianity. Simplicity, in fact, in all religions, simplicity, humility, frugality.
Well, that may be true, Father, yes. But you see, even with all due respect, even to the pastors and the religious leaders, they also engage in vanities, display of wealth. And so these boys and girls or men and women who are seeing their religious leaders in, unwanted display of wealth.
Well, this may be a consequence of the prosperity gospel that has been reigning in our country for decades now. This may be part of the consequences. I mean, if you show people that it is a life of vanity, of vainglory and acquiring and a lot of money, and you forget the central focus of the gospel of Christ, then perhaps we will end up here.
Yeah, because part of the challenge too is what my teacher in school would tell me those days, what they call environmental determinism. The environment shapes a lot about you as a person. And so when you get to Benin, you see, for example, this Yahoo business is thriving. And so if you're not part of it, you are seen as somebody who is dulling.
You don't belong.
You don't belong. And so everybody is in a rat race to get into it. And so you see religious leaders, pastors, or whatever you call them, imam, they are all also involved in this crass display of wealth. And then you are preaching one thing and doing another thing. And so these people who are your followers too are watching. That you cannot be telling us to imbibe the culture of frugality, simplicity. Meanwhile, the life you are living is life of opulence, wealth, display of materialism. And so it is a culture that has over the years been nurtured and is becoming.
Okay, yes. as a university lecturer, before you came on sabbatical, while you are in Benin, do your colleagues see this as a major problem, or they themselves have accepted that it is part of life? It's okay. Did they see it as a major problem? Because you have just said that it's even worse when the university people are graduating.
Yes, it is.
So do they see it as a crisis, or they have acculturated to it?
No, but to be fair to a number of my colleagues, we engage in some informal discussion on this. And actually, it's a crisis situation. It is because most of my colleagues, they see this as something which has actually eaten deep into the system. But what to do about it is the challenge. Because when you try to take step, you are seen as somebody who you are anti-progress. Let me use that word, anti-progress in quote now. And so you see students in school in a show of wealth, unexplainable wealth, yet you are
unexplainable wealth.
Yes.
So some of this wealth may not have been from their parents.
Not parents. Let's call a spade a spade. Some of them are they in short, in Benin there is what they call it's like a college of Yahoo.
College to train Yahoo
boys. Yes, they call it if I'm correct, if I get it correctly, they call it HK. So it's a place where you have young boys who have been tutored in the act of this Yahoo, whatever it is. So they are there for months, for whatever it is, until they graduate.
You mean that allegation that there are across the country Yahoo training schools? You can confirm that they exist?
I can confirm that without missing words. It is there. And it's not today, it's been there, it's been coming.
In that case, what it means is that we have a whole generation that we are losing. So how do we protect the children that are growing up to be responsible in responsible homes? How do we protect them from these criminals?
It's a tall order. It's a tall order. You will do your bit as parents to give the children the value, the shock as over the need. But what you see on display largely around is this endorsement of the fact that this Yahoo thing is a good thing.
To what extent is this coming out of dysfunctional families, broken families, divorces, the increasing wave of divorce and dysfunctionality in marriages and family? To what extent is this coming out of this?
It's part and parcel of it. I will speak first of all as a lawyer who have over the years also witnessed or been involved in some of these divorce proceedings. And you see young people, marriage of 5 years, less than 5 years,
with 2 children,
they're in court seeking for dissolution of marriage. I had one example which was very harrowing experience, where a young man and the wife, they had 2 children, 2 boys, and the wife was hell-bent on leaving the marriage. Despite the fact that the court made effort to say, okay, let us see there could be reconciliation, amicable settlement, she was hell-bent on going that she is tired. Marriage of just 4 years. And if you look at the reasons they were given for seeking divorce, flimsy reasons. Why? Because perhaps, like it's often said, you cannot give what you don't have. These young men and women have not been properly brought up in terms of value orientation. They don't have it. So when they get there, the resilience is not there, the patience is not there, the compassion is not there, the empathy is not there, the sense of sacrifice is not there.
Now you are listing something that is very important. So people are getting into marriage, part of the reason for the divorce, widespread divorce, people are getting into the marriage without a sense of sacrifice.
Yes.
Without personal resilience.
Yes.
Without empathy.
Yes.
Without compassion.
Yes.
And those are necessary ingredients for 2 people living together and having a lifelong commitment.
They are, as I think you have said that several times here, that marriage itself is a school of love.
Yes.
Where all the students are slow learners.
Yes.
So all those ingredients I have mentioned, you must imbibe them in the course of the marriage. Resilience, mutual respect.
Yes.
Empathy, compassion. This whole idea of me, myself, and I must be jettisoned. So it is now a new unity of 2 persons. The 2 persons become one, and they are now a new unity.
So when on the other hand you have one selfish, self-centered person marrying another selfish, self-centered person,
it will collapse.
It will collapse.
It will collapse. So these are the products from such dysfunctional homes or marriages that are now being churned out in society.
And that's the result we're seeing.
That's what we're seeing.
Now, you watched the video of Jonathan Haidt.
Yes.
Both the coddling of the American mind and the anxious generation.
Yes.
Now, in that discussion, he actually says something that is very staggering. That we have actually lost a generation. And he's talking about the Gen Z generation.
Yes, the Gen Z.
That they lack resilience, they lack empathy,
yes,
they lack risk-taking, they lack sense of conflict management, and so on and so forth. And because of all this, he says we have lost them because they cannot cope in the real world.
Yes.
They are coping well in the virtual world, but at the real world, they cannot cope because of spending an average of 10 hours a day on social media. They have lacked what older people grew up with, who could play with their classmates and so on. If what we are seeing with these children now, if it is coming from those they call millennials, what are we expecting to see with Gen Z?
It's troubling. It's troubling. Real troubling. Part of the challenge, like he said, that we are as parents. There's there's a word he used there, a terminology he used there as this continuous or continuing, partial attention.
Yes, continuous partial attention.
Yes, to our children. And so what we see on display is that we, like he rightly observed, the children are overprotected.
Yes.
To the real world.
Yes, and not protected at all.
Underprotected.
In the virtual world.
In the virtual space.
With all the dangers in the virtual world.
And that virtual space is more dangerous than the real world.
Yes.
And so parents have abandoned their obligation to bring up these children that God has given to them in the right way. And so these children are now being tutored by the virtual space. And so the empathy is not there. The natural emotions are not there. They are now behaving like robots. And so the resilience is not there.
Yes. You are a parent of young children. To what extent do you think your fellow parents are aware of the challenges that are staring them in the face?
I think part of the challenge is that parents are not aware of the depth of the problem. some parents, let me use the word, some parents are not aware of the depth of the problem. And so you see parents are largely engaged in career pursuits.
Looking for money.
Trying to make, live good life.
And not paying attention to the young child growing in
we
their
talk
house.
about, what is important about the thing, about you are pursuing money, trying to give your children good life. Expensive toys, expensive schools, go on expensive vacations. All you are searching for money. Meanwhile, the very important part is being left out.
What will be responsible for what is critical for your happiness when you are getting old is how well your children are doing.
Yes.
We are not paying attention.
We are not. And so you see, and children learn very fast. As they say, example is better than precept. They learn very fast from what they are seeing. When you leave your children in the hands of caregivers, nannies, minders, they grow up. Perhaps empty too, because the minders and
they bring some ignorant girl
they
from
have
the
nothing
village.
to give. So in return, so these children also grow up without this care, without this attention and all that.
We need to end this segment now. Someday we need to have another discussion on this. I've been discussing with Dr. Solomon Agbonhulu, and we have been discussing the next generation. Are we losing them? Are we losing our next generation? And we are responsible. We of the present generation will be held responsible if the next generation is lost, because we have a lot to do. I pray that the religious leaders, parents, teachers, school authorities, community leaders, that we will all put head together to see how we can salvage the future. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.